Hello, welcome to West Ham Confidential on Revelator Alf. So, the morning after the night before, yes, West Ham played Macclesfield in the Carabao Cup and came away with an emphatic victory, yes, 8-0. Now, this is exactly what I kind of wanted, and I've been saying, in previous videos really, is to actually go into these games and go for the win and go for... to be ruthless actually and build on momentum for the league. And this is where we've failed for the last couple of seasons. We haven't been convincing in these kind of games, in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. We kind of really have struggled. And that's kind of carried through into our league form as well. Now, obviously, we've had a terrible start to the season, but, that win against Everton, the draw against Chelsea, performances getting better, players starting to click, and it's starting to work. And I was so pleased that Pellegrini went out there, and had a game plan, but he also introduced the youth into the setup as well. He rested some of our, sort of key players in certain positions. It was good that Arnautovic was still resting, so he was saving for the Man United game as well. So I think, with resting Anderson, Yarmolenko, this kind of thing, that, gave the opportunity for other players to actually step in and prove themselves. And so they did, which was fantastic. Now, I don't want to say that I want us to actually go out and beat these lesser teams and annihilate them. But I think it's got to be said that West Ham have got to go into every game, regardless of the opposition, and be confident and be ruthless in front of goal and create opportunities. Now, this is one thing that West Ham are certainly doing this season where they haven't done in the last two seasons, in that every game, regardless of the result, they've actually been creating opportunities. So even in the Chelsea game last weekend, there were three clear-cut opportunities to, potentially score. And, you could argue the best of the lot, Yarmolenko, was, should have really been a score and could have given us the 3 points. However, that being said, at least we're creating the chances. Now, in the game last night against Macclesfield, we started with Adrian in goal, and he had a reasonable match, but he actually, in all fairness to him, he didn't have to do a lot. And whatever he did, he was kind of assured. So, good for him. He's not going to be our first team goalie. Fabianski is, but he's going to be our first team goalie for the cup games. So, for his sake, you would hope that we actually go far in these. In both the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, to keep him in the side. Because I think if he's not going to get first team football, then he might be on his way at some point in the future. You would think, but who knows? But, at the back, Fredericks on the right. We had a return for Ogbonna in the centre of defence, alongside Diop, and the Cresswell there as well. So they kind of had, a solid back four. And, it's good to see Fredericks back, and I like to see him in these games to build up his confidence as well. Ogbonna and Diop had a good partnership in the back. Ogbonna even scored a goal, which is great. Fredericks scored a goal as well. So all in all, in the back was great. Midfield worked well as well. Snodgrass came in. He scored a couple of goals, and he's been creative as well. His dead ball situations, plays were good, and his delivery was good. So, great for him. Perez, who I've lamented about so much, he worked, he was industrious. Alongside Antonio, they both bagged a goal each. Perez goal, the third goal, was actually a really good quality goal. So, really good in that respect. But it was really great, as I say, for Pellegrini to bring in the youth who actually, did well, who fared well. Obviously, Rice is always, that we know that kind of quality that he has. So that was good for him, in this season to be included and to be doing quite well. But Diangana, who came on, who was featured in the game, he scored a couple of goals. He was doing really well, as did the other, debutants as well. So, overall, West Ham not only went out there, we're not only ruthless, did not only annihilate Macclesfield, which kind of feels sorry for them, which I do, I know, I probably shouldn't, I know, but I do. But it's just great that, the players are playing with confidence, and not only the first team. This is the crucial thing. That's what I always keep on saying about any team, about any club, about any, especially West Ham. It's not about the starting 11. It's about the whole squad, and it's the feeling within the squad behind the scenes. If they're feeling good, if they're feeling buoyant, then that carries through to whichever 11 players are on the pitch at any given moment. And that's, I think, really showed last night that we had two great results and performances, in the league. That's carried through with this momentum, with this confidence into this game. Pellegrini has cherry-picked the players that he thinks that really should either prove a point or, carry on with this momentum, and they've gone in there and they've attacked it and they've created lots of chances, and let's face it, they totally outplayed, totally dominated Macclesfield, and it sends an atmosphere through the crowd. Everybody's buoyant, everybody's happy. That can only be good for match day experience. That can only be good for the atmosphere at the London Stadium, if you like. It can only be good for the confidence of the players and building that momentum. So this is my key thing I wanted to make. After an 8-0 win, do we honestly feel that West Ham are going to be ready to take on all comers? Yes. You've got to imagine they're going to be hyped up, aren't they? If they can control that excitement, control that confidence, then they're going to be really great going into the next game. Now, you've got to look who the next game is against Man United. It's at London Stadium. On any day, that's going to be a really tough game, which it is. Let's not underestimate them. They've got lots of problems. But they've just come off a defeat. They've had a poor run of form for their standards. They've just come off a defeat against, Frank Lampard's Derby. So they're going to want to think, right, they're going to want to prove a point. As I'm sure Mourinho is going to want to prove a point, but they're a bit disjointed. They're all over the place. And I think there's no better time for West Ham to actually play Man United right now and get a result. And I think they will. I think they will get a result. I can see us being a 2-1, winning 2-1, 3-2, something like that. If Arnautovic comes back, I don't know what the latest is on his knee injury, but if he's fit and able, if Yarmolenko is playing well, if Anderson, is brought back and is playing well, but, regardless who the starting 11 are, it's that central midfield dominance where we have to work. If Noble and Rice and Obiang are featured in this game, then you've got to think, well, they've got to be a solid trio, and then, Yarmolenko and Anderson have really got to work out and hold out in defence, in midfield, and that's where we've got to, win the game, and obviously by creating opportunities as well. We've got to be on the front foot. We've got to, take the game to Man United. I would normally say let's be bit more conservative against these teams, but they're ripe for the taking. I think we could take them. But this is how we're all feeling. We've had 4 terrible games, then all of a sudden we're all feeling a little bit better, and we're all feeling buoyant. And then all of a sudden you come off an emphatic win, then all of a sudden, chests are puffed out when we're ready to take on all comers. And that's how we should be, not only as fans, but also as the team. And I think, it's looking good for a good West Ham performance first and foremost, and then hopefully a win against Man United at the weekend. So that's all really. I mean, I'm glad that Pellegrini has gone in with a positive attitude. I'm glad that the whole squad have gone in with a positive attitude and they wanted to do well. It's been really encouraging for the players to come out on social media the last few weeks, when they haven't been playing well, and actually come out and say this is not good enough. We know this is not good enough. So these are all positives in my eye. Yes, there have been a couple of failings, a couple of subpar performances along the way. And, I've been very critical of Perez, but it's good that he got on the score sheet last night, and it's good that he can, but, he's got to keep that work rate up as well. Anderson, he's showing the flashes, but just needs a bit more consistency. So once we've got these final few players, coming to the party and joining in, then I think it's going to be a great time for West Ham. I still think we've had a poor start, but I still think that we can climb at this table, and by the end of the season I think we'll be looking in a good, certainly above 10th. I think we should be looking at a 7 or an 8th position. I think 7th is where I initially thought that we would be. And you know what? Because we're feeling confident, I think this confidence, if we can carry this on, go through the dead of winter, I think it'll work well. Anyway, great result last night. Great to see the youth come in. Great to see all the players, getting goals, and scoring 8 goals. I mean, I can't even remember the last time we beat somebody 8-0. And that's saying something. So, it's a great time to be a West Ham fan this morning. I've got the sun, the shades on. It's bright outside, but also nursing a bit of a hangover. Oops, yes, I did drink a couple of brewskis last night in celebration. But there you go. So on to the next game. Man United, feeling confident. Let's go at them. Up the Hammers.